Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/idontworkherelady. So sit back, relax and enjoy some Reddit stories. She was fully aware I didn't work there but was unlikely to get help otherwise. Background: I consider myself deaf, though I'm really just severely hard of hearing. I don't like wearing my hearing aids because after a while my ears get sweaty and it gets a little uncomfortable. Think about it like wearing cheap earbuds in for a while, same experience. I just happen to have my hearing aids in because I tend to like being able to catch more of what I miss, and it allows me to have better conversations without needing to sign. However, in public, I tend to do what's called com-sign, which is signing while I'm speaking. It's out of habit more than a conscious effort. The story. This is no way what seems typical for this subreddit, as it doesn't end with a spectacular finale. My roommate and I were shopping at Wally World, just getting a few items like milk, diet soda, stuff I missed for burrito night, etc. I was wearing a dark grey shirt, black slacks, black shoes, black socks, glasses and my hearing aids. Roommate was also not wearing close to the colours either, grey sweatpants and a black shirt with two wolves on it. So no way we could have potentially been mistaken for employees. Well, coincidentally, it wasn't being mistaken for employees, but the fact that I was speaking with my voice and signing. I wasn't paying attention to this gal, probably about 20. However, my roommate had noticed her, and she signed "help me." My roomie, who needs signing slowed down for him, still asks me vocally to direct my attention at the lady. She signs again, "help me," and I sign, "how help you." Biggest smile ever in the universe. She signs that she knows I don't work here, but she needed to speak to the store manager about coupons for batteries, for cochlear implants. I signed to her telling her that I think Walmart accepts coupons for their competitors. But I'm not sure, but I think a regular employee would know since they're trained for it. And that's exactly what we do. Roomie and I stopped our shopping, went up front to the cashier and I asked the question for the century for this gal. Do you guys accept competitor coupons for things like hearing aid batteries? I believe we do, but I'm new, so let me just make sure. At this point, the cashier calls for the customer service manager, who shows up less than a minute away. What's the problem? Can we accept coupons like this for hearing aid batteries? Yes, if it doesn't scan, just do a price match and put it in your drawer. Meanwhile, during their conversation, I'm signing to the deaf lady with the dead battery having CI what's being said. I sign to her to go pick up her batteries and point to where they are. She runs back in a couple minutes while my roomie and I were chatting with the cashier, mostly about cats. Cashier rings up the batteries, applies the coupon, deaf lady pays and immediately uses a battery in her processor. She then thanks us and hands me $1. Off she runs into the night. We've seen each other before numerous times over the last 3 years of me living here, at that store, and other places around town, but this is the first time I've personally interacted with her. Roomie and I finish our shopping and end up at the cashier again. It was late at night, so take what you will. I've always wondered it must be like really hard for deaf people or people that just don't speak English in an English speaking country or in a foreign country don't speak that language to try and communicate. It's just really hard. I don't work here, I live here. I lived in a room for rent when this happened a few years ago. I had made some cheesecakes earlier that day and it was about 9 PM when my housemates, all of which were up for some odd reason, were annoying me for cheesecake. So I got my butt out of bed, annoyed as I had to go somewhere early in the morning. I was cutting up the cheesecakes and dishing them out when my roommate came screaming through the house. Not sure how to describe it, but she was clearly off. Maybe it was the fact she accused me of trying to murder her while I was cutting up cheesecake, or how she threw a clock at my head. Not the first time she went off. The oldest of my housemates heard us all outside, so my roommate could go 50 shades of crazy inside. She dialed 911, she told them what was going on, and shortly 2 cops showed up in a cop car. They asked us whom was going nuts, and we pointed inside, which led to a rather strange moment with my roommate running outside, yelling, "You'll never take me alive," before diving into a mud puddle as if it was a pool. The cops promptly picked her up and dragged her back inside. "Did she think that was a pool?" I asked, confused. "Most likely. I love this cheesecake," said my housemate. I looked back at her. "You still have it?" I asked. "You are holding the spoon still," she said, pointing. I noticed the spoon, having forgotten I was holding it, and started to eat the cheesecake off it. After a bit, the cops came back out and one of them turned to me and said, "Are you her nurse?" "What?" I asked. "Are you her nurse? She needs her meds," said one of the cops. I stared at him. "No, I live here," I replied. "Are you sure?" said the cop. "Pretty sure. What do you think I am a nurse for?" I asked. "You are dressed like one." I looked at myself. I'm wearing PJs, my hair is a mess, I have no shoes, and I am licking a spoon. I am clearly not a nurse. Please try the landlord. "Thought you were. You look professional," said the cop before going to the landlord's office. I hushed my housemates to keep them from laughing, as I could see they wanted to. After a bit, paramedics came and took my roommate away to get meds. The cops then left. My landlord came out and stared at me. They asked me why the nurse was saying she wasn't a nurse. "Okay, who's the nurse this time?" she asked. My housemates pointed to me. Yes, we all got a laugh out of it, and everyone turned out fine later. Well, to be fair, I'd probably take it as a compliment if someone said, "Oh, you look like a nurse," while I'm wearing pajamas and eating a spoon of cheesecake. Being mistaken as a manager in multiple places. I work as a teller in a bank, thus I'm in a dress shirt, pants, and a tie with my name tag clipped onto it whenever I'm working. When I go on break, I either go to the nearby Wendy's or to the mall to eat. I've been mistaken as a manager or employee at a few places I visited. The pretzel stand in the mall sometimes gave me a discount on my order, since they assumed I worked in the mall. I had a few times when they asked me what store in the mall I worked at, though I did tell them I didn't work in the mall. When I do go to the mall on my break, I cut through the JCPenney. I had an older gentleman asking if I knew where the bathrooms were. I told him I didn't know since I don't work at the store. He apologized and went on his way. At the Wendy's, this guy, who looked like a repairman of some sort, looked at me and said, "You're not the manager here, are you?" I kindly told him I wasn't. He went on his way and I assume he found the actual manager when he went in the back. On another occasion at the same Wendy's, I was standing near the line waiting for my food to come. A pair of ladies went up to the line and asked me if I was the manager. I said no, I was just waiting on my food. They laughed and apologized for the mistake. I'm surprised that the mall of all places, people think the guy in the shirt and pants are the manager, because normally there's quite a lot of people in a shirt and pants walking around malls at their lunch break from the bank and stuff. Lady thinks I work at a gas station, freaks out on the owner for telling the truth. Let me start this by saying this was a few years ago, so the details are a bit fuzzy. So this story starts with my dad pulling into a gas station while we were on a road trip. I had to go to the bathroom, so I ran inside while my dad put a bit of air in the tires and got gas. As soon as I step out of the bathroom, Karen looks at me and says, "Finally, someone who works here. Done with your extended break yet?" I looked at her and said the famous line, "I don't work here." Karen cut me off and said, "I know you work here. I saw you talking with that man outside." I'm pretty short and obviously young, so I have no idea how she even mistook me for an employee, so I repeat again. I don't work here. To which she slams the door, which is glass, of the gas station, which promptly shattered. My dad heard this and immediately ran to the store. What's happening here? This employee refuses to help me and claims he doesn't work here. I want him fired. At this point, a real employee comes out of the back room to see what's happening. When the employee realizes the door is broken, she calls the owner, who arrives in the middle of my dad and I telling Karen that I don't work here and that I am 13. The owner shows up and tells her the exact same things we said to Karen, who decides to yell, "Why are you defending this employee? He was lazy and should be fired." Followed by her throwing a bunch of stuff from an aisle onto the ground and storming out. We ended up getting free snacks and saw Karen's car on the side of the highway being pulled over by the cops. We made sure to slow down and give her a nice wave when we drove by. Thanks for the free snacks, lady. How can you mistake a 13-year-old, like a literal 13-year-old, as an employee at anywhere, literally anywhere? Just ring up my screws. I promise I don't work here, really. I ran to the local home improvement store last night for some screws and ended up browsing for a bit. Somewhere between looking at Dremel bits and contemplating a new soldering iron, I hear a man roar rather loudly. What do you mean you don't have any? This is like basic stuff. You gotta. I couldn't hear the employee's response, but it was rather short, and he walked briskly away to resume stocking circular saw blades. My next thing to check out was drill bits, situated right behind Mr. Raw. Excuse me, sir, but Mr. Raw still shouting, "Thank God, finally! Ralph, you said he was a really fat guy that looked like Santa Claus. This is a skinny guy in a baseball hat." Me, smiling, "I don't work here." Mr. Raw, "Well, He starts laughing and then gets a lot quieter. "Sorry man, I'm just giving my cousin a hard time. Am I in your way?" "Yeah, I just wanted to peek at the rack behind you." "I can't believe they don't have any easy outs. I'm trying to get a broken bolt out of my lawnmower and..." "They're on the bottom, right there." "What?" I scoot Mr. Raw away from the rack and grab a set of screw extractors for him. "Man, I know Ralph doesn't normally work this department, but he told me they didn't have any. Doesn't matter though, these are too small. There are bigger ones over by the sockets." "Huh? Why aren't they all in one place?" "These are for home improvement. The ones over there are counted as mechanics tools. Come on, I'll show you." I lead Mr. Raw over to sockets, point to what he needs, and begin to walk away to check out. Mr. Raw loudly, "Ralph, Ralph, he found them." I continued to beeline for the cashier. It failed. Just as she started her spiel on how to use a credit card terminal, Mr. Raw clapped me on the shoulder as he passed by to leave empty-handed. "Thanks again. It's good to know that at least store management knows what they're doing." The credit terminal went blank. "Sorry sir, it didn't recognize you." "I don't work here." "You don't have to work at this location. The discount is for all company employees." "I don't work for your company." "Are you sure?" "Yep. Because company policy says..." Just ring up my screws. I promise I don't work here. Really." "Hey, I mean, the guy did do some work for the store, so he should get the employee discount, right?" This made my day. I work for Family Store, and we're next door to Food Store. When I got off, I went grocery shopping. Maybe 10 minutes into my shopping trip, I walk down the juice aisle. A lady walks up to me, completely missing the basket full of groceries I'm pushing, and asks if we carry apple juice. She's holding apple juice, so I'm confused. I think she sees it in my face. She says, "Oh, I'm sorry, cider, not juice." Then she realizes I'm shopping and says sorry again. I tell her I work for Family Store and I'm not sure I can help her. She says thanks anyway and we part ways. I finished my shopping trip maybe another 20 to 25 minutes later, after going down every aisle and getting lined behind an unattended basket. Then she appears, the same lady. I asked if she found it. She said, "No, and I thought they would have it, being this time of year. I'm just gonna use apple juice and vinegar." Almost asking me if it sounded okay. I have no idea. But I know for a fact that this store has cider, as I've mistaken it for apple juice before. Yuck. So we troubleshoot together where it could be. We're waiting in line for a while because it's really busy. We can't figure it out, so I tell her she can ask the cashier and she can find out where it is. She asks and we hear another associate say, "It's behind you," talking to the cashier. So the lady and I both look and we find it in the produce section, in crates under the apples. She tells the cashier she doesn't want the juice she had, since she found the cider. I realize I forgot to get juice because of our introduction, so I tell the cashier I'll buy the juice she didn't get. The lady laughs and thanks the associate and myself and says my customer service shines through. Are you sure apple juice and vinegar is a good substitute for cider? I don't think it is.
Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.